See you more, but you're so rare. You make yourself so rare. What are you?
I'm so important. Yeah.
You're so rare. What are you doing that you have to be so rare?
You know,
you
I
never come out with like all those comics go out. You never do.
You know what's funny is
Well, not with me.
two things. I come by this frickin' street when I used to live up here for 15 years, so I know this street back and forth, and so I didn't know you lived here. Other than that, that's a great story. We use that as a clip, and.
See, that's what I mean.
And when I saw you in Hawaii, people don't know. To the people at home, you do a show in Hawaii, and
No, I caught last year. This was the last.
The last one,
I pulled the plug. You did the first year of comics on board. It was so great. You and Jeff Ross.
Oh yeah.
It was 2014, I think.
Is that what it was? Oh yeah, it was
Can you
fucking
believe?
fun. It was really fun because you know your friend group of
Yeah.
is the coolest guys.
Oh.
Woody's funny, great. Sean Penn,
Eddie Vedder.
Yep,
Oh my
that
gosh.
trip.
And the crew I take. I mean, it was 12 years I did it. It was great. And I got to spend time with people like you and Jeff, like I never would because, I don't know, what are you doing? Why you hide? Are you shy? Why are you? You know what it is? You're with girls, right?
I'm so coquettish.
How did you get to be? You're like the Pete Davidson of your generation, right? You kind of are.
Yeah.
Like the guy everybody goes, wow, how did he get all those girls?
It's always how. It's so horrible. It always starts with how. No one can figure out the fucking Rubik's Cube.
It doesn't always start with how. Sometimes it starts with what.
I remember one of them said I had a big wang in some interview, and people were like, oh, and I go, you know, she's just saying this because people like are baffled, so she has to make up something like, oh.
But what is it?
Dick's big, and they're like,
but stand outside yourself.
Yeah.
And what would you say it is? Like, if you have to actually answer that.
Okay, push in. I'm going to do a long speech. The thing about me that's great.
Push in.
So well, you know, if you can't get them on the great looks department, which drives me crazy because I would rather be better looking if I could. But I think if not, you know, we're all comics. I don't think it would help any of us to be like stunning. I'm not including you in that. But you know what I mean? Like, we have a sense of humor. But I will say, when people say they like a sense of humor, it's kind of like music. It's a little general. So you have to find a girl that likes your sense of humor. Because there's so many different types of comics.
Yep.
And they can say, I love comedy, and they can list 3 comics you don't think are funny.
Right,
go,
exactly.
Oh. So, or these movies, you go, eh. So, or you say, great, that's exactly. So I like girls that are obviously attractive to me, but I also like when they're kind of light and funny, and they don't have to be hilarious, but they just have like a charm or
They have to find you hilarious.
And they have to find me hilarious.
You don't care if they're hilarious.
Yeah.
No, but it is wonderful to be with a girl who actually does make you laugh.
Yeah.
I mean, I certainly have experienced that. And again, it's like, how do I put this? Not as much as we do it.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a certain perfect amount.
Sure.
And it works for them too, because they're not comics.
Right.
And we're not always on either.
No, just they have a lightness to them, or they kind of see the world like you do. It's just a fun
And they get
rapport.
the joke.
Yeah.
They get the jokes.
That's it.
Some people don't get the jokes, and they have to leave immediately. You know what I mean?
I met a girl that was from Ukraine, and I go, there's a toddle in town. It's like someone's old joke. I go, Ukraine, okay. And they have a seriousness built in, and from that area, and everything got quiet. But you know, Ukraine.
Well,
it's just, but people like that, and then she's talking to me, and I realized that the point was, everything I say, or even throwaway joke, or even just mildly, it's not clicking, and that ultimately will be the demise.
Is this not partly because of the language problem?
It is partially that, and it's not their fault, really.
It is not their fault, but and just the way you can't blame anybody, I think, for what their taste is.
Sure.
You also can't blame somebody if they say, look, I can't be with someone who speaks English as a second language unless they're utterly brilliant. And I certainly have had that girl in my life who did not speak English as the first language and was so utterly brilliant. She was better at the language than I am, and never missed one reference, one joke.
Oh, wow.
But it's rare because the language is a barrier, and we use so many idioms, and we use so many
Twisting things and phrasing.
also references to growing up here, and plus we're working with an age barrier because you and I both, Dave.
Yes.
Yes. You
Thanks for dragging me in, but yeah.
Well, it's true.
I know. I'm not.
Well,
a
we're
spring
like
chicken.
well, there's no reason why
But it's
we should
okay.
apologize for being who we are and what we like.
Right. I
And
think people don't like if there's an age difference with someone you date, and that's.
it's such hypocrisy. It's fine when Madonna does it, or
She's 77, her boyfriend's 14. Everyone's like, that's fine. I'm like, that's fine. But it's true.
It is fine.
It's girl power.
it's whatever works.
I don't
for what
give a shit. Yeah, when people after 18, you're like, you're an adult. You guys date. I don't care. I don't. It's not. I have bigger problems. I got bigger fish to fry.
You know what an appropriate age is? One that works. If it works and everybody's happy, that's
Sure.
That's what's appropriate.
One of my friends is female, is single, and she's 57. She says, I'll never date a guy under 40, and I'll never. I go, you can't do that because you might meet the coolest guy in the world
Yeah.
who might be 39, or you just don't know because it's hard enough. If you've got the whole thing, you got to pick up everybody. It's hard enough to get just one thing working.
Look, first of all, in my experience, relationships work when people are more opposite than alike, in the sense that you bring to the relationship something the other person lacks. So, are you going to be like most compatible with someone who's just like you? Not in my experience. I don't want someone just like me. I have me.
Yes, and there's some women. There's women that are like, I don't need the greatest looking guy in the world because I'm already. I want to be the attractive one, or I'm pretty, and I don't want someone working out every day and preening and doing all that. And I think that's one way. Another way women are more interesting is that they can just say, I like a vibe or a packet or something. And that's where it might work for me, where they say, the sum of the parts might work. But
Did you ever get close to getting married?
Yeah. My problem is I don't know if I would, if it would work, and I would, obviously I have a mental problem. I'd be scared of if I was living together, if I would not do well with it, or if I was, or if I ruined it, or if it fell apart for whatever reason, that if we hated each other. I see my friends or people I know that where they get divorced and they hate each other, and I go, that's tough. Someone you're that into, and it's just a grinding hate, and you go, I would hate to have them hate me, or I'd hate that. It's just it's almost just a fear. Obviously, it's not normal, but I don't really care. I just think
it's perfectly normal for you. There's no
for me,
normal.
and that means it's okay.
I refuse to apologize for any of this.
Yeah, you're
I
good
feel
at that.
sheepish about that. I think everybody else is nuts. I don't know how they do it. And by the way, most of them don't. I mean, half of them get divorced, and certainly of the marriages that do stay together, many of them are not what I would call happy.
Right. Whenever
Some
you
of them
hear
are
about-
very on the surface unhappy, and some of them are just like, we have come to accept this sort of
dismal experience. No, you hear when anyone's ever cheating or caught, they go, they get in front of it. We've been separate lives for a long time. We're
Exactly.
basically divorced. It's
Yeah.
it's not really that big of a deal, and that's a tough one because some people it should be harder legally to get married than it is to get divorced because marriage is so easy. It should be very tough because when you get divorced, people I know go, well, I've got the house with them, I've got this, and we got the cars, and we got to split up the electric. It's just too hard, and they say, we'll be fine. We'll live separate lives.
We all know,
Yeah.
being stars here in Hollywood and A-listers at that.
Okay.
I mean, I didn't see you at the Met Gala
No,
because I didn't go. But
I didn't have a cat costume.
right.
That's a funny look when you see a woman there.
But we all know people, like prominent people, well-to-do, like managers and agents and people like that, as well as stars, who've gotten divorced. And we know, being close to these people, that they went through a period of years. If they were lucky, it was only 2 years, but it could be 5 years of just this everyday hatred and revenge. And, just imagine you're paying for the lawyer who's fucking you in the ass. That kind of thing. And also, this is the person you thought it was going to be forever with, and so you opened up totally to them. So now they have the best kind of ammunition to use on you.
Because they know everything about you. That's scary too.
So I think this is what we both has prevented both of us from going all the way to Baghdad, as I call it, with nice. Let me just invade Kuwait and kick them out of what we said and not go all the way to Baghdad. Because when you go all the way to Baghdad, you get bogged down. And then the next thing you know, the Shiites are coming into your apartment and putting an electric drill to your brain. I mean, metaphorically.
This happened? Oh, yeah.
It happened in Iraq.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to sound like I'm anti anything about this. I love the girls. I've had great relationships, and I just, fears of ruining them. Let me get this out.
Cut!
You can't take anything out.
Okay, I see.
No, but it's funny you said agents. I was seeing someone just a few years back and left me for a big agent, and I was like, just walked out in the middle and just said, yeah, I got this big agent. And I was like, oof.
Were you very upset by it?
I was, yeah.
You were?
Yeah.
So you really wanted that one to work?
I was working on it, trying to make it work out, and didn't even get a chance. It was like ripcord pulled for me. But I have women I've dated in the past, and it takes a long time for me to actually get to know someone, and then you sort of find out what they're like when they're mad, when they're sad, when they're this, when that, things are going well, and over time you can find out I can handle that because they go, oh, everyone's crazy. I'm crazy. We know that. So when I say, what crazy other person, we're both crazy, which one can that type of crazy I can deal with the most? And it's like, oh, that one I'm not that worried about.
I don't find you crazy.
I cloak it all right, but I'm not that bad for being a comic.
You're not crazy. Why do you do that? It's like supermodels will go, yeah, I was a nerd.
That's
like, shut the fuck up.
That's our equivalent.
You're not crazy. They're not nerds. Everybody, stop with the false modesty. You're not crazy. Everybody else is crazy.
Yeah, when they say that to me now, they go, I was a nerd. I go, you're still a fucking nerd to me.
Well, you're a nerd who probably did 28 movies.
Well, I'm okay with everything. So, what was I going to tell you?
How many movies have you done, you think?
I don't know. If
do you count?
No.
Do people
34.
Count? Really?
And 81 cameos. Sandler movies. No, I've done, I don't know. I've done TV shows. I try to keep it moving. I did a tour this year, stand-up tour. Do you ever go on tour, or do you just, you can't
I should.
really.
I have to call it, I have to rename just when I go out, I'm going to call it a tour. Because what's a tour? It's like, I'm in this city this day and this city then. And it's helpful to sell it. It was stupid that I haven't, but I'm going to rename my, not rename, name. Because now, I just say,
you need a name
show,
for it,
I'm in, here are my plugs right now. June 3rd, I'm at the Met in Philadelphia. June 4th, the Wind Creek Event Center, Bethlehem. June 16th and 17th.
Dumb.
At the MGM Grand in Vegas.
Ooh.
Yeah, what?
Oh, I just in Vegas. I'm doing a thing in Vegas with Nikki Glazer. We're doing 3 more this year. We just did it last weekend.
Here's how you know you're not crazy. Everybody, you're like Woody Harrelson. Everybody who ever has worked with you likes you.
That's nice.
People look, you're a huge podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Some people don't.
Wouldn't come on. Yeah.
Well, some people just, I'm not going to name names, but certainly even in the cast of SNL of that era are not because they are crazy.
Yeah.
There are some people who are crazy. I'm not going to.
Not all BFFs, for sure. That is it's a war zone, and they always say, don't compare it to the war because it's not. I'm like, well, we all know it's not the actual war. But, you know, you go down there, you're basically down there with people, and it's a tough place. I like that you're such a pro stoner, you have scissors.
Not just scissors. These are, my friend Dave gave these to me. These are like, I call them circumcisers, because it gets right to the point.
Well, let's see if it really... you know, when Woody, your boy Woody did SNL, I think he tweaked up his monologue. I thought that was interesting. I've never seen that happen.
Tweaked up?
Like he changed it.
I worked on that with him.
But I don't know if he changed it. You'd be the one asked. I don't know if he changed it. I just know that that's not really what they do there.
Absolutely, it's not.
And I thought Woody was just cool because
such
for comedy, do both sides. Let the host say whatever he wants. That's interesting.
You know, he and I are very close.
Yeah.
And I'm not just saying it for that reason, but first of all, what an amazingly great guy. Yes. And what a ballsy move. Because, first of all,
it might get you adrenaline going, I bet.
Saturday Night Live. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the plot of certain movies, shows. It's live. They can't stop me. I'm going to do this. And this guy did it in real life. It was like, no, they can't because it is live. Yeah. And I'm going to tell this story. Now, I don't know how much they knew about what the ending of that story was, but it was also a brilliant way to make that point. And look, Woody and I have had just too many hours of discussions about vaccines and COVID and stuff. I would say we're 90% on the same page, but I certainly don't go as far as he does.
Sure.
But the theme that he was putting out there, I certainly am on that page of we should be much more skeptical of pharmaceutical companies. It's so funny when the Sackler family puts out these opioids, you know, that's what is it, OxyContin, and they get sued and for $8 billion they have to pay. And everybody goes, oh, well, the Sackler family, sure, pharmaceutical companies, billionaires, of course, corporate America, they can't be trusted. But when the same people are involved with, as Woody said, you know, okay, you're gonna have to stay home until you take our drug. Yeah, that's not to say that COVID wasn't a real thing, or that the vaccine wasn't helpful to millions of people who would have died without it, but it is a point that should be made, and the fact that he was able to, or willing to, put his considerable popularity, because, you know, he's a beloved figure, and say, I'm gonna take the hit of some political capital by making this statement in this very high-profile arena. I mean, you got to give the guy props for that, even if you don't agree with it.
Right, I wouldn't do it. I have no opinions. I don't even have an opinion about this.
Oh my God.
I love that Woody did it because I watched it and I was like, and when it feels like it's off cards, like cue cards, where you think, and I've been there, you know, I worked there, and the monologue is like, you know, sometimes it's written early enough to be in read-through on Wednesday, and sometimes they throw it together on a Saturday. My monologue got derailed. When I went back to host, Sandler was in it, and it was the weekend Waterboy opened. We're going back a ways, but Waterboy was such a big hit, he had to go back to LA to do something, because it was that weekend, it was blowing up. We were like, holy shit, this is one of our guys, you know?
Right.
And it was so big, and he goes, I gotta go. And I'm like, oh, he's in my monologue, and I'm already in 13 sketches going, what's my monologue? And they go, well, Lauren goes, just, you know, do something from your act. You're a comedian. I'm like, I don't never go on anymore. I'm on Just Shoot Me or whatever.
Really?
So I go, fuck. I pulled something from my last special and then something new I was working on. I go, but there's no practice. It's like I do it once for 6 people, the crew guys, and then I do it on dress and then air. And so I did it, and it was fun. But the monologue is scary anyway. Woody's not a stand-up. I thought he was very ballsy to say it. And I think Lorne maybe knew he would do something like that. That's what I'd heard. And I like that Lorne said, not it's your funeral, but just you do it. If that's what you think, you'll take the heat. Sinead O'Connor ripped the thing up.
Right.
Tim Robbins, when I was on, came out and he wanted to slam GE. And that's our parent company.
Right.
And he said, GE, it brings good things to death.
Oh. Why?
And he just did it in his monologue. They were doing something back then, of course. I don't know anything about politics. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I was too busy putting my nails on for Gap girls. So I couldn't give a shit. But I was like, wow. And And he did it, and Lauren was like, let him do it, because it's part of the fun of the show. And then later, Sinead O'Connor ripped up the picture of the Pope, and then they forgot about the Tim.
It was the same show?
Yeah.
Boy, these stories about SNL are great. We should do a podcast about it.
Yeah.
Wow, I'd never...
But anyway, what do you, to wrap that up, I thought a very interesting choice that he did. Because now you got to go to all your sketches when even the cast is probably like, holy shit, dude.
Right.
And it's scary enough to do that show. It's scary enough.
Right. Takes enormous balls and integrity to stand up for what you believe when you know that the opprobrium is going to come at you forcefully. And of course it did the next day. I saw the stories on the internet. It was right. I mean, it hadn't been... It's funny because I said to him before he did it, this might be a little too subtle for the crowd because it's a metaphor.
It was cloaked in it, yeah.
You cloaked it in this idea. Are they really going to get it? And of course they got it in 2 seconds, and the haters were all over it.
But I didn't know where it was going. I was like,
right.
Oh, this is weird. And then
it's so funny. Like, this is an example to me of real courage. Whereas there's so much stuff that people do now, like in situations just like that, where it's called courage, but it's not courage, because here's the difference between courage. Courage is when you say something knowing you're going to get booed or hated. It's not courageous to go, I'm gay, in front of a very liberal audience that's going to give you a standing ovation.
Yeah.
It's not wrong, but it's like, that's not courage, because they're loving it.
Well, comics did Trump jokes mostly during the first election, like Trump was like kind of a crazy person. And then when they kept doing them, I'm like, all right, you can switch it now, because now it's, you hear what Trump said, and then everyone applauds. So it's, as a comic, you go, that's fine, whatever your politics are, but let's find a new angle that is, it's ballsier to say anything against that, to make people go, oh shit, you're not saying what everyone's saying.
I saw this guy, he's an actor, I love him. I think he's a fantastic leading man actor. Oscar Isaac.
Oh, Oscar Isaac, yeah.
Not Isaac, Oscar. Right. Isaac.
Oscar.
Okay.
I think.
It's so funny because his name is Oscar Isaac. I always thought he was Jewish. Because he could be. He looks ethnically something. He doesn't look like he came over on the Mayflower.
Is he, when he went to confession, he brought his lawyer? Forgive me, Father, for I've sinned. I think Mr. Cohen.
Wow.
An old Bill Maher bit, guys.
Boy, the oldest.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
One I used to see at the Improv.
Oh, we all know our original acts.
I love it.
Because those are the ones we saw each other do every night.
I saw you on the chalkboard. I was new, and I'd see Bill Maher, Jay Leno, Seinfeld, Belzer, Paul Reiser. I'm like, it's a fucking mount. It was great. I goes, everyone's good. That was a good training. Nealon, Dennis, Miller.
I remember hanging out at the Improv out here, and Sandler was like just an up and coming. Were you? I don't think you were around, but I remember him at the Improv, and like we would like go out to my car and listen to Beatles songs.
Great.
You think about.
He's such a music dude, yeah.
How far? But I'm going to finish my.
Go ahead, Oscar Isaac.
Okay, so he's the host. This is like a year ago or something.
Host of SNL?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so he comes out, and in his monologue, he reveals that his name is not Oscar Isaac. That's like, those are the first 2 names he has, but his name is Oscar Isaac, like, I don't know, and then it's 2 Hispanic names. He's Hispanic.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Exactly. Well, you didn't watch this episode, I guess. It's still on now that you're not. Okay.
Why would they keep it on? We peaked.
So he says, my real name is Oscar Isaac, Hernandez Rodriguez, or whatever it was. And the audience erupts in applause, and because it's like the woke audience, you've been cured of whiteness. It's a miracle. We thought you were white, and this is
it's like a gift from God.
Great news.
Yeah.
It's a gift from God. Oscar Isaac is not white.
He's not white.
And again, I like this guy. I think he's actually done great. I mean, lucky he was hosting that show, and I think he's still underused. But then he says, like, the first 2 names, those are the ones they gave me. And like, who's they? first of all.
What?
Like,
They gave him? What
Like,
do you mean, like
meaning
his
like
parents?
the agent, like it's, like it's 1950, and he's in the office of Louis B. Mayer. All right, we're going to call you Oscar Isaac. All right, young man?
Yeah.
The public won't accept someone of Hispanic origin. We're going to call you Oscar Isaac.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. We have a better one. You're going to be Bill Jones.
Yeah.
Bill Jones. No, it's like
Marilyn
this
Monroe,
kind of phony fucking posturing is what
They made me.
They made me. They didn't make you. You signed on to that willingly. And by the way, when you came along, it still would have been fine.
Yeah,
So
I know.
you-
Right now, it's fun. We're gonna give you 2 first names.
It's like, no, it was
No, I know.
2010. What were they gonna? We don't serve your kind.
Yeah, I know. He was in because he did a sketch with Sarah Sherman I saw that was funny, and I said, "Who is that?" They said Oscar Isaac, and he said he's in the Star Wars, but I didn't even. Well,
Yeah.
listen, it's
I
good
don't-
for
I
him
don't-
if I don't know who he is because. I don't know
I
what's
know
going
very
on.
much who he is. He was. I don't see Star Wars, but he did a fantastic HBO like limited series about a year ago. I think it's called Scenes from a Marriage. It might be the Ingmar Bergman thing. It's a little over your head, Dave.
No, believe me, don't go by me. If there's something good, I'll never see it.
Really? You wouldn't watch that? It was him and
I don't-
Jessica Chastain. It was about a marriage.
No, because yeah. Remember that one with
What-
like
who are you-
DiCaprio? and Kate
Everything
Winslet?
has to be Joe Dirt and like,
Yeah.
really?
No,
Yeah.
I'll watch that stuff, but it's like some of them are just too depressing or too
Really?
rough. Yeah.
So what do you watch?
TikTok?
TikTok?
No,
Really?
No, I have.
Are you on? Do you do a lot of the kid stuff with the?
I am on TikTok,
You are.
but it's bombing.
Really?
No, because I don't really do it. I would use like plug gigs, and everyone's like, "Well, that's not really what we do here."
Really?
Well, that's not really what you do there.
Great. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, it just if I joined it and I got 4 million people right away, so I go, oh, so it's more people that I could get stuff out to. But I do like doing a little comedy shit for it. So it's
But if you don't use it to plug, what the fuck do you have it for?
well, that's embarrassing to me. Well, what if I learn a new dance?
Right. That's true.
They say I'm the John Bonet of.
I feel like being on TikTok now at 67 would be like me walking into, the hottest club in LA on just a regular Saturday night. Like, hey, I'm going to be here at the club. No, sir.
Yeah.
This club is not for you.
Yeah, you know. One
I mean-
time I went out with when I just started SNL my first year. No, maybe my first year, or I knew Lovitz and maybe Carvey. I just knew him barely, or Dennis. And we went to a Lakers game, and then they go, "Let's go." Lovitz was like, "Let's go to Bar One." Remember Bar One?
Of course.
I'm sure you fucking killed it there but I was new. And so I go, "Oh, what's this?" They go, "It's a club on Sunset Boulevard." I was like, "Great." And so we all went there, and we walked up, and the bouncer checks that, and he goes, "John Lovitz, SNL," and it was like Dana, maybe it was them, whatever, and then me. And so I was a writer. I just got hired. So we go in, have fun. And then a week later, my buddy's in from Arizona, and he goes, "What do you want to do?" And I go, "Oh, there's a bar I went to called Bar One. Let's go there." And so we valet, we get out, and the guy goes, "What's the name?" Because he stops me, which is, first of all, bothered me. And it's a Saturday night, and he goes, "What's your name?" I go, he goes, "You have a reservation?" I go, "No, isn't it a nightclub?" And I didn't understand what was going on. And he goes, "Yeah, we got a private party tonight." That's their company line. I didn't know that.
Always.
Oh,
We got a private party.
It's like the legal way to say.
Right.
And I go, on a Saturday? I couldn't believe someone rented it out.
Right.
And then I go, "Oh, well, I was here last week. Who are you here with?" I go, "Oh, I was with John Lovitz." "Oh, yeah. What do you do?" I go, "I'm on SNL." He goes, "You're a cast member?" I go, "Yeah, I'm a writer." And he goes, "Yeah, private party." WJ is going to hear about this. So he said, "Nothing we can do." And my buddy was like, "Let's go. It's so fucking embarrassing." Got worse. Turned around, and the valet was driving with my car, and I go, and then I had to wait for him to park it, come back, get the keys, go back, get it, come back, overpay him. And my buddy's like, "You're not famous at all. I think some of your stories are lies." I go, "Well, I'm like famous, but I'm a writer." It's like, that doesn't count as anything.
I mean, I'm sure there are people out there in America going, you guys are complaining about the time you didn't get recognized.
Yeah.
But I just have to say, I've had that happen to me too. And it is pretty bad.
It's embarrassing.
It's like,
Jesus
there's
Christ.
and that's the thing, you learn that fame is something that in America, because we're so bifurcated, that everyone has a little niche.
Yeah.
So, like, you can never depend on knowing who's going to know you and who's not. So you just have to go through life, unless you're like, Drake or, Obama or something.
When you hear these people say, do you know who I am? They don't. I mean, if you say it, you're already at a disadvantage. So famous in its way it is, in the definition, you know who I am. If you don't, I'm not that famous. So when I go to places and they go, hey, there's going to be about a 45-minute wait, I go, okay. And then I either take off or wait, but I don't go, hey.
Right, exactly.
I think you got it wrong. I go, some people know, some people care. People care at different levels.
Yeah.
Some people see me and they go, hey, I remember when I found out it wasn't a big deal. It was when someone goes, hey, there's David Spade. He goes, I hate that guy. And I go, So I thought, it doesn't mean they like you. It just means they know who you are. They saw you on something.
Of course.
And I'm on fucking TBS every day for grown-ups or Benchwarmers. So they're getting force-fed me somewhere from some cable or they see something or, So it is fun to be known like that somehow, but it doesn't always mean it's like...
Well, I have a tip for you.
Yeah, go.
For this.
Go ahead.
What are we in a business meeting? Go. Yo, Tom. Okay, so if this you said somebody says we have a 45-minute wait, and you either go right or you wait. What I would do, what I have done, is very nicely say, okay, I was invited here. I'm so sorry. I was out somewhere else, and I forget the gentleman's name, but everyone seemed to understand he was the owner of this place. And he asked me to come in, whenever he said he would take care of me. So I don't know who sorry, I can't remember his name, and the person who's stopping...
Starts to get the drift.
Well, they get the drift, and also they probably will get some other person, even if the owner isn't there.
So you have one more chance.
And it's probably somebody smarter and higher up who then goes, hey, knucklehead.
Let him in the Cheesecake Factory.
That's a perfect ending to that.
We have tons of tables.
Cheesecake Factory, that's awesome.
He drove all the way down to the Grove. Let this fucking guy relax.
Right? What do you think of that?
That's not a bad one. I'm just so embarrassed to go I don't think you get
But are you still going to clubs?
I go, no, I go to Cheesecake Factory. I go, maybe you know me from Grown Ups. They go, Chris Rock? No. Adam Sandler?
Right.
There's only 5 of us. You'll hit me eventually.
No, you have to not. It's actually.
No, I don't go anywhere where they would. A club, not a chance. There's one guy that's still on an old club list. I laugh about it with my friends that he still hits me up. I'm like,
you need to go to a club?
Like he'll be like, hey man, if you're at the F1 in Monaco, we're doing a thing that I'm like, what? And I go, I hope it's. I say if the F1 comes here and it ends at 9 p.m., I might go.
Do you remember the times, the era, I should say, when you knew what every night of the week
sickening,
club, and it was the same bunch of douchebags who would then go...
Me. I go to Ledoux, I'd go to Las Palmas, I'd go to Concord, I'd go to Spider Club.
And
so gross. I'm like, I should probably give Thursday off. They've seen me too much. Like, one day? That's it? Give them a fucking month.
You know why? Because here's the thing. We're probably the same with this. I don't know. I was certainly no cathode in the pussy beaker when I was in high school. I was not making any experiments happen.
Sure.
Okay. So, and then, Cornell, that was horrible. But finally, I'm like a grown man, and girls, I can make girls like me if I get to talk to them sometimes.
Sure. Yeah.
So, therefore, having sort of wandered in the wilderness for so long, it was like, okay, there are these places now where I can afford to go to and that I can get in.
Yeah.
And I can post up at a bar and see a pretty girl and start to talk to her and, get her number, all that whole shit. And it was like, if I can do that now, it was a little like Halloween. Like, this is a night they're giving out candy. I'm tired, but I really, it ends after tonight. Like, tomorrow I can't knock on some stranger's door and have them give me candy. But I can tonight, so I'm going to keep going. And it was kind of like that, but it took 10 years.
Yeah, and fame is a window, so you go, hey, I might as well. I remember Ashton Kutcher, I just saw on something, and who I knew him back in the day a little bit, because he was on 70s show, I was on Just Shoot Me, and we'd see each other a lot. Super nice guy, but he said, I was a douchebag. He goes, I don't know. He goes, I had fame. First of all, he's tall, great looking, he has no problem anyway. And then he's famous, and he's rich, and he's on a hit show, and it's just too much. I mean, he said, there's no proof, but he was just like, I'm sure I was a dick, because it's just too much. Too much. Now, luckily...
I've never seen him be a dick.
No, he's always nice.
He's always nice.
Yeah, I just thought it was kind of humbling that
I think he's being very hard on himself.
Yeah, he's being hard on himself. But I get that when you go in those days, like, it's mostly your friends going, can you get us in here? Even if you don't want to go out, they're like, just get us in, and you can get the fuck out of there if you want. Just get us in and get us, throw your card down. But then you can take off. So that is fun when people know you and you go out, but you go.
I do wish I had stopped living that life earlier than I did, though. Even though it was still available to me, if I was a more mature person, an early maturer, which I never have been, we can't all have every great attribute. I wish I had, certainly 40 should be the year you stop ever being in a club or a bar, just for the purpose of, like, being a single guy, talking to girls. And it should be something. I don't even know what would replace that, but the problem is, for us, like, I don't regret never getting married. Do you?
No, not really. I mean, I think also going to those places, now I go to dinner and I do a longer dinner and have a drink, and then I don't. I used to go to dinner and then maybe have a drink and then go to a club. And then it was, I got rid of the club. And then I go dinner, let's go somewhere else, have a drink.
Right.
And now it's long dinner, drinks, talk, where you can hear each other.
Right.
Because I realize your superpowers are gone. When you're at a club and you're yelling your jokes, it's fucking embarrassing. No one hears them, and that's my only thing I got going. No one looks across the bar and goes, ooh, this guy.
Right.
They're looking, it's just strictly
Yeah.
On the surface, who's the most attractive person I can talk to? Because no one's talking. They're just yelling and they're going, where are you going after this? I'm like, I just got here.
Right.
Because no one has anything to say. What are you doing after? I'm like,
I mean, but that's the thing. And first of all, some of them are on their phone. They're not even in the room.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I mean, this incredibly superficial room you're in, they take it one step beyond that. They're not even in that room.
They're not even next to you. They're just like...
They're like, right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, look.
We didn't have that when we were... Usually when we went out, there wasn't that, at least.
No. And I think things were so much better when people... I mean, I know this sounds like get off my lawn, but like when
For sure.
It does. But it doesn't mean it's not wrong.
No, I don't... Listen, I don't want AI. I just think we should just stop... About a year ago, I go, we should just stop inventing things now. We're good for about 10 years. Like, everything's going well. We have to keep inventing, keep pouring money into things, and then you go, but it just gets more and more complicated. My house I just moved into has a bunch of stuff. It's not even regular light switches. It's like, and I go, nothing works. Everything's shitty. I wish I lived in a dump like this. I sort of miss it, you know? No, I'm kidding. This is good.
Well, I don't live here.
No.
You know that.
This is the Club Random. This is like in the metaverse.
And you know what? If I invited you to a party here, you would never come because you're in bed at 9 o'clock.
I remember a while ago I told our manager, Mark Gerwitz, hey, handsome. I said, we have the same manager, and I said, I see more and more clips of Bill's show because they do come, they come across my phone. I do mean I came across them. But I see you on there, and I watch, and I say, oh, this was funny. And then he goes, tell him. I go, you tell him. You talk to him every day. He goes,
right.
You got his number. And I go, all right. So I've texted you about 3 times, but I don't think I have your old Hawaii number.
You
anymore.
must, because I would certainly
So I
have
say,
answered.
hey, Bill, this was great when you said this.
Really?
Because I see it and I go, fuck,
Okay.
man, this is stuff
Well,
that
here's a rule of thumb. If I don't answer your text, it means I never got it.
3 years.
Yes, I would. I'm not the bouncer from 1997 who didn't know who you are. I'm the.
No, I think
would-
you'd at least say,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Oh,
So I keep saying, Mark,
okay. Well, we'll remedy this tonight.
yeah, we will. And
But you just do. You don't ever stay out late, do you?
I don't stay out that late anymore. And also, I don't do drugs. I used to do
That's a shame.
a little booger sugar, just to bump it up a little bit, just a little power flower. But I realized that would keep you up. But in the last 10, 15 years, it's too tricky.
No,
so.
we can't do anything exotic at our age.
Well, I
Any.
think I did. There's twice when I did a little extra, and I felt like a little jittery, and I go, it's a bad feeling.
You can't.
And I go, I don't want to go down that way.
Look.
I'd rather not.
No. Look, you have to make concessions to age.
Yeah.
You look good. You look whatever you are,
Yeah.
but a good version of that, and that's all you can do.
That's all I got going for me. Yeah.
No.
I mean, that's good. I agree.
can
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because-
you look healthy. You look like yourself.
Yeah.
The worst thing
Yes.
you can do is to do some fucking surgical intervention that you don't look like yourself, as I say in my act. Then you're old and weird.
I might just do the lips. No, but I see people, and
Yes.
some things are too big or something.
And you know what? Nothing sends the wrong message to a woman like plastic surgery on a man, because I asked you before, or somehow came up, like, why do you think that, you were always so popular with women? They like authentic.
Yeah.
What is less authentic than a man
Or,
who can't stand to
yeah.
and
I know.
hi.
You wrestle with it though, because I think we're all insecure.
But it doesn't work. That's the thing. If it actually worked, Fran Lebowitz had the great line, no one will ever have it better on that. She said, no one looks at a 65-year-old person with plastic surgery and goes, look at that young person. So what's the point?
Or
Be
someone-
authentic.
Yeah, girls that are 27 and they get it. I mean, we've made women feel so badly, whatever. But they go, "Oh, we got to get it." And so, normal women out in the real world, they're getting lips and everything.
Yeah,
and you
but
just
you
go,
know that-
you look 40 when you're 27. You go,
You know what? Sorry. Nobody put a gun to your head. Okay? It's you made a dumb fucking choice. That's it.
yeah,
I saw this story about, I think it's Linda Evangelista. Do you remember her?
Yeah.
The supermodel?
Yeah.
From like the 90s?
Of course.
Why, you dated her or something like that?
no,
Okay,
no,
but
just like a stunner.
There
yeah.
are a lot of pictures of you with like a woman who's a foot and a half taller than
I think they all start a foot and a half taller. Yeah,
Yeah. But really, I mean, it
minimum. Yeah.
only made you look good.
No, it's fine. I try not to
But-
push it out there, but yeah.
But she like did something
Yeah.
that ruined her face.
That went sideways on her. Yeah,
Right.
unfortunately.
And I feel bad for her, but I have limited sympathy for people who do it to themselves. You did something for vanity, and something that is advertised to be, probably works 99 out of 100 times. But do you really want to be that
Yeah.
100?
Because they seem to have it down pretty well for like, I don't know if the Kardashians have had anything, but if they have, they've got it wired because butts are curvy, everything, it all seems to like look good, and you go, now, is it a great message for young women? I don't know, but
Well, don't Google breast jobs that went bad,
yeah,
because there's
there's a show I'm producing for TLC.
Right. But
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I mean,
It's hard. I get it. I mean, I think Linda Evangelista's supermodel was probably in that George Michael video, and at a certain point, you've just got everything, and then if it starts to slow down, it's the same with all of us. We
you
all
can't really do these things on the body. I mean, I certainly understand that there's a real thing that is being trans, being, so-called born in the wrong body. But whatever the remedy that we decide for whatever individual, they are not putting enough emphasis on the fact that you can't expect to have someone to be really healthy for the balance of their life when you do something as radical as take away their penis and put in a vagina or vice versa. These things are intrinsic to your health. It feels like health is number 2 below this makes me feel, and that is important.
Yeah.
But,
any surgery is very scary to anyone. And so the more you do, the more it can go the wrong way. I agree with you. I agree with
You
you.
had
I agree with what
surgery?
you're saying.
Have you ever had surgery?
I mean, I've had a hernia.
A hernia?
Voluntary.
Why? Why did you get a hernia?
Because I lift weights every second.
No.
Because I have a Soloflex in my house.
Low flex. I had one in my apartment on Westmount.
Yeah, it's
with
got
the
like rubber bands
with the
on
rubber
it, yeah.
bands. Oh my God.
No, I just got one because old or something, and then I had one. I have to get another one for a sinus surgery, but I don't. But I'm just saying those things you get scared because the last second you're in there going, what if this goes wrong? Even the colonoscopy, you go, which I did one recently. Let's look at a clip. Do we have a clip? We don't have the clip. I sent one. But even those, you're about to go under and you're like, some people don't wake up. So you get scared. Now, if you're doing something really, you're really getting in there in your body, that's scarier. I mean, that's the whole thing of plastic surgery in any way, shape, or form. It's risky. So.
Even though it's like the slowest moving Bronco chase ever, and it's been foretold and then happened in such slow motion, I still can't believe that we who were the young comedians are now the old comedians.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's going to happen, and yet you can't believe it did.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
I will say we are lucky because in the comedy world,
yes,
you don't have to retire that fast.
much better than music.
It's great. I see your show. I'm like, Bill looks the same. He's doing the same show. He's getting laughs. You got interesting stuff. You have Elon Musk, all these people. It's fun.
Kind of an advantage that we were never the pretty boy.
Yeah.
Because then we never had that to lose. It's not like, hey, George Hamilton lost his tan or whatever,
Girls always say, guys are lucky. They go, when you get older, you just get better looking. Not you, but they... And I go, well, if you're a good-looking guy and your hair gets a little gray, it's like, great, but not everyone turns into a butterfly when they're 70.
No. No, but women are much more deep than us.
Sure.
Like...
I agree.
No, in the sense that we're more superficial. Like the old saying goes, women fall in love through their ears and men fall in love through their eyes.
I thought it was boners. I heard something different. I don't know. It was on a bathroom wall. No, I agree that's what I was saying earlier.
You're such a good comedy partner because you never drop the ball.
We go back and forth. That's why it's funny. It's funny.
No, I don't really do punchlines like you. Like you always come up with the punchline. That's the valuable guy. And can you believe that this town's on strike? Is that affecting you?
Well, I think I've been through one or two. You have too, right? They're tough. I mean, it's a little press at the beginning and on TV.
I got thrown out of work this week.
And then it gets, that's right.
I was supposed to do a show Friday, and Monday they hadn't taken the vote until the night. I did what I normally do on a Monday, which is put in a very long night, putting together the first draft of my editorial at the end of the show, and now no show, and
think about that, yeah.
And this, I don't want to get into the politics of it, but there is no, and look, I know the writers are getting screwed by the streamers, but
it's hard to stop work. It's always hard to stop work because
also
the money you lose just doing that is crazy.
All the people who get thrown out of work.
Yeah. They use it to get rid of people, right?
Not that too, but also not just people who get thrown out of work who actually were directly writing, but the restaurant that was across the
Of
street
course.
from the studio,
Yeah.
where the actors went to have lunch.
They showed that in the news today. They were showing all the restaurants that are empty, and you go,
Yeah.
it's just such a trickle. Because, I mean, listen, I have no answers. I'm a writer. I'm in the Writers Guild, and
I know.
I get it. And but
No, I'm
fuck,
just
it's
saying
one
a
of
lot
those.
of-
After COVID, you go, oh, and then
The drug dealers who don't get the same order that they
exactly.
do.
That's
from
what we're getting at.
The hookers who would normally go 3 and 4 at a time to certain.
The IOUs with the hookers is embarrassing.
That's another thing I think you and I agree on. Like, we would never want to be with a girl except if she really, whatever our flaws are, you have to really want to be with it. We can't like just buy you,
Right.
because that wouldn't feel, you wouldn't feel good about yourself.
Right.
Because like anybody could do that. Lovitz could do that.
Right.
I'm just making.
I don't know.
I'm kidding, John. We love John.
Balderdash. I saw Lovitz this weekend.
You did?
Yeah. I did Las Vegas. He was there, and so we went golfing.
That's like the way people feel about bands, you know, like I feel is the way a lot of people feel about that gang of Saturday Night Live guys who, like, more than other cast members, seem to have like this bond that went on. Like, like more than the music, fans don't like to think of their favorite band members hating each other, breaking up.
I don't
talk to him. It's like, please, mommy and
Yeah,
daddy,
I
why are
know.
you fighting?
I
We
hate-
love
I hate
you.
it.
And you guys, I think, uniquely in the NSNL catalog, like have this like band of brothers thing that went on.
Yeah.
You know, I
I'm
can't think
lucky.
of any other grouping that does.
You know, I'm lucky, to have some friends from my era, and then also the Dana, Dennis, Kevin Neal, like that era, Lovitz. I still talk to those guys when I can. You know, I see Dana a lot. But, you know, it just, also there's...
You're not all the same era?
Well,
you don't all,
we sort
you
of...
overlap some.
We
all of-
overlapped a little, and then it
Yeah.
went on to more, I think people think of more with me, you know, Schneider, Sandler, Rock, Tim Meadows, you know, those guys, and Farley.
What about that first year with Chevy?
When I was there, Chevy was fucking good. Chevy did 1 year and fucking
I
tapped
know.
out, and he was
Right.
a huge star. 6'4", good looking. I saw
Yeah.
Goldie Hawn. She was nothing like him. Formidable. He came into a meeting. I was like,
Really?
God damn, this guy.
Yes.
Because they did
No,
2 movies.
and also the good-looking, but has a sense of humor,
Yeah.
so can play against type. That's what Cary Grant was.
Yeah.
That's what Burt Reynolds was.
Yeah.
That's what Ryan Reynolds is.
Yeah.
You know, that's the ultimate goal. When you are the good-looking guy, but you don't act
You're
like.
just doing your thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's so attractive to women.
Yeah, you just fucking around.
Warren Beatty,
Accidentally good looking, yeah.
you know.
That's not your only thing you have going. And then that's those guys.
Well, Warren Beatty was always, I always thought was the ultimate because he was great looking, rich, movie star, but also like humble. Like he had very Midwestern manners. So it was always about you.
Yeah.
And also, it's like in baseball, he was a 5-tool player. He also was like the most relentless. Like the stories about Warren Beatty, like he would see a girl driving and he would pull her over. You know?
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Like, just like, I have to get to know you, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, he's Warren Beatty, and
Right.
it probably happened.
And he's good looking. They give him a break.
And he's Warren Beatty.
No sevens are pulling girls over.
Yeah, you have to be, you have to, like, have some,
Right. It's like girls that get away with murder, so do great looking guys. They get away with stuff that regular people would.
there's a thing that the kids call pretty privilege.
Heard about it. Not directly. I've heard whispers.
See?
Yeah.
You always hit the ball. I feel like I would love to be a straight man. That is a great job.
Ah.
I would love to just be that guy.
I'm a straight man with Farley. I'm a straight man in a lot of movies. There's movies that really
Yes,
I
that's true.
I would do this movie because you need in The Wrong Missy, that movie for Netflix. I was straight. I read it knowing I'm not the funny part, and I go, you know what? I sort of like that. Ben Stiller, Jason Bateman, like
great job.
in over your head, straight man.
It's like being the assist leader in basketball.
Fucking fun, you know.
You
and then you
you
just
know.
watch them score. After a while, it gets tough, but you just watch them score. But it's funny, like that Wrong Missy did more. That movie did more for me, because I guess it's about have one that works about every 10 years. That's my pattern. It's like it goes Tommy Boy, then it goes Joe Dirt, then it goes Grown Ups, then it goes.
Yeah.
Wrong Missy was one of the big ones on Netflix that they just go. It's worldwide number one again. And I'm like, I don't believe it. They're like, we don't believe it, but good job. So just trying to hang in there.
Very few people have like one hit, let alone.
Yeah, it's hard to hang in there.
Yeah.
You're doing the same thing. It's hard to just keep it going. So.
I think what you're doing is harder because I'm doing the same. I've already got it. I've been there 21 years. All I got to do is just do the thing that I have been doing, which of course, if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to get better at it.
Yeah.
And like you said, like we don't have to look awesome. We just have to look generically late middle age.
Yeah.
And not be offensive to look at.
Yeah.
Did
you see a movie with like Will Ferrell is the dad and you don't know his wife or how old they are, but you go, Will Ferrell, I never think how old he is. I just go, he's the guy in this movie.
Of course.
And he's funny.
Right.
But if you ever go, he's 59 and he's still,
Yeah.
you go, it doesn't make sense in the movie, but you go, because you don't think of that's old when you think about it, but when you go, it's Will Ferrell and he's the kid's coach, but you go, why would he have a kid?
Let me tell you, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, got it.
Made. You don't smoke pot.
I was about to say.
Okay, they made a movie about. I don't know. It was only a few years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
It was a script that plainly was.
Was it them in a prison? Yeah. I remember that one. It's called like
It was a script that plainly was written for two men in their mid-30s. I mean, they're hitting each other with pipes, chairs.
They don't even change it.
Yeah, and it was just like they were so preposterously too old, both of them, for this movie. It was like one of them was in prison. Okay, you have to get arrested, get in the prison, and then break out of this impossible to break out prison with this guy who hates you, and
it's written for Robert Pattinson. And then they're like, Arnold says he wants to do it. And you're like, instead of your daughter being 4, she's 40.
I mean, Norman Lear was not available. So they went with, and it's just like, but they're stars.
Yeah.
There's something about...
That's not the one where the boots stick to the ground. That's Nicolas Cage. Remember he's in prison and he's got these boots that are magnetized to the ground? I'll send you a clip. I'll send you a link.
No. I mean, but Nick Cage, there's a great example.
He's great too.
What?
He's great too, Nick Cage.
Yes, and also, I mean, he was just on 60 Minutes. Like he has like waited for the Ferris wheel.
Yeah. He got some mystery to him and he comes back
and now he's at the top of it again, and it just shows, especially in this business. I mean, you were saying like every 10 years or whatever, but like that's life. We just happen to be in the business of show. So for us, it's like this kind of thing. Not everyone out is going to be a hit, and it's very hard to predict what is going to work and what's not.
Sure.
Especially movies.
Yeah.
Like I'm so glad I'm not in that game. I couldn't take it because so many things can go wrong.
You read a movie, and every movie I've tried to do is funny from the beginning. There's so many ways to go wrong, like you said.
Right.
Table reads funny, and then it goes wrong from there. It's like direction is tough. The editing, the co-stars don't get along. Someone's
right.
Something about it. The distribution, the poster, the release date. It's freezing out.
Exactly.
I mean, we had Black Sheep come out, and they go. Larry King was like, "There's a storm tonight, this weekend. They advise everyone not to leave the house." I'm like, "What? Don't leave. Shut the fuck up." Like, not just there's snowing. They go, "That's good for a movie. It snows." I go, "Not when they say don't leave the house." The worst one we've had in 15 years, and you go, so.
Now, for you kids watching, back in the day, as you kids would say, we had to leave the house to see a movie.
Yeah, you had to go out.
They're like, what are you talking about?
It's hard to get out and see it. It's hard to get people out to see it.
Did someone stash your phone outside or something? Or why would you need to leave the house?
And when you watch a movie at home, you can get distracted. The same thing with like people that work from home. I think there's too much distraction because I've done it, and when I watch a movie, I look at my phone or I go in the other room. When you're in a theater, it's sort of the only game in town. You sit in the theater and you stare, and you watch it. You're more into it, I think.
I must admit, I have only seen, I think, 2 movies in the theater in the last 5 years, and some of that was COVID.
Yeah.
But some of that is just, I got so used to not watching movies all at once. I treat a movie like a book. I don't read a whole book in one sitting.
That's what I'm doing too.
None of them hold my, if it held my attention, yes, I could see, but it's like, yeah, I like this, but for 20 minutes. And then I'm going to watch something else for 20 minutes.
People that shock me are my friends. You know, in fairness, they have no jobs, but they go, they go, they have, you know, they go, I have a commercial audition Thursday. I'm like, this is what it's down to. So they go, you know what I watched last night? 3 seasons of Ted Lasso. That's 100 hours. And they're like, yeah. I go, what? How do you do it? They go, I blew through a season of, okay, I went and rewatched Breaking Bad. I go,
I know. I couldn't have.
I do one. I'm like this. Is it, you know, as good as it is, I don't know if I'm a snob, but I go, some of these shows are good, but I go, it's not even the show. The attention span, I don't know what it is.
I agree. I don't understand the American attention span. It's either 3 seconds or forever. You know, like podcasts. Mm-hmm. Like, I would never have guessed that podcasts would be a thing. To me, it's like AM radio, a lot of it.
It really is.
And
which wasn't cool for so long.
So uncool. And also, like, if we only do an hour, it's like, chintzy. You know, like...
It's weird. I don't...
Like,
why? We try to do an hour.
What's wrong with 2 hours or 3? And I'm like, whoa, who has this
God's
kind of...
green earth is sitting there. I mean, Rogan, they like 5 hours, 3 hours.
And to binge anything? Binge?
And sometimes binge,
I can't get through an episode.
Yeah. I think clips of podcasts, I see that on Instagram. So I see clip of Theo Vaughn. I see my friends, I go, Tim Dillon, that's funny. But I don't ever watch the whole podcast, but I go, this is the good part. And I judge going, that's funny to me. These guys are funny to me. And I form an opinion about.
Yeah, I must say, I kind of hate that we live in this clip world, because people say to me, you know, Billy Corgan. I knew. Said it.
He was on your show recently.
Yeah, just this before you got here. We were talking about an interview, and he said, "Yeah, I saw clips," and it's like, I want to go, thank you, and also fuck you.
I know.
Like,
I heard him say that.
It's like I just want to go. Oh, what's a shame. But nobody ever seems to want to watch anything in its fullness. Or, you know, we do certainly have fans who do that, but like I feel like we move into this clip-driven world of like, just give me the tastiest tip of the.
Yeah.
You know.
Because people say, you know, your movie, I actually seen pieces of it. I liked it.
Right. That's
It's
another.
a good Hollywood thing. Saw pieces of it.
I mean, I've had people who said with a straight face, like they were trying to compliment me on Religulous, and said, I started it. It's like, that's not a compliment, you know? Like,
you know, SNL has it down. Like, if you follow, even like you on Twitter, it'll show in full one of your full segments. So it's really the whole show. SNL, here's Weekend Update. Here's someone on Weekend Update. Here's a sketch. Here's the monologue. So if you want, one at a time, you can go back and watch what you want to watch. A lot of things do that. Yours is bigger because it's on like the internet. Like, people will pull it on the next day and say, you said this.
right.
And you'll click and it'll be the whole monologue. So if you miss it, you see chunks, but you see a fat chunk, you don't just see it, a minute of it.
Right.
It'll go beginning, middle, end. And that's the way I see a lot of stuff, because I mean, they're not there, or I'm out there making millions doing shit, you know?
But you are.
No, not all at once, but
No.
it adds up.
Yeah. You've had a fucking amazing career. I mean, not everyone comes off that show.
That was the hard move. That's the hard one. That gap right there.
Right.
Because
A lot of people.
they said you can do your own show for a network. That was back when it was like just the network show. the big three and Fox. So we'll
Right.
give you your own show.
Right.
Alpha of SNL. You get one swing.
Right.
And I watched, I think it was Arsenio, had all the heat in the world, did his own sitcom, and didn't work.
Right.
And they're like, okay, he's done. What else? And you're like,
Yeah.
brutal. Is that
Brutal.
one swing? Then and you think it's going to be forever. So that's when I joined Just Shoot Me. They go, or you could be the fifth lead on a show that they might pick up. And I said, it's farther down the line. It's past
Very smart.
pilot stage. It's a pilot I could watch.
Right.
They didn't have someone kind of like me. Everyone was really good.
That's smart.
It's from a guy that did Larry Sanders.
Right.
And NBC already likes it. It's almost on the air.
Right.
And I go, let me jump in here.
Perfect.
And the same thing, then I went over
I never knew that. That's really
Rules of
interesting.
engagement. It was a pilot. They were already wanting to pick it up. If you join, we'll pick it up. So I'm already at the 1 yard line. To do a pilot from scratch
Right. You're right.
is too scary.
That's the activation energy point, as they would say in chemistry, where we see whether these two compounds combine to make a new compound or fizzle. And that was a very smart move. That's the key moment there.
Yeah.
Like you picked the right horse.
I see it also, and this sounds crazy, but when you watch football and you see like a great receiver, a great quarterback, and they want more money and they switch teams, and you go, and you never hear from them again. I go, you should just realize there's something that's working with this group. And I can't say what, no one knows what, but that's where you work best. And it's working. You go somewhere else, something's different, and there's something about it and it falls apart. And that's what this kind of like TV shows. If you get cocky and say, I want to do my own, and it doesn't work, that mental beating of trying to go back and get your heat back is just too hard.
But it's nice that we both got to a point where, first of all, I had so much anxiety when I was young about, am I going to be a failure or not? Because it's very easy to be a failure.
Mm-hmm.
You can either be a failure right at the beginning and never get anywhere, or come off SNL and then just kind of...
Yeah, it's hard to get on something. If it doesn't work, then that's a misstep,
Right.
and then it's a little harder. Then you get the second lead on a pilot, and then if that doesn't work, then it's really...
To me, that's a lot of my mental calmness is like, okay, I was not a failure in this life. I chose this profession and was a success. And found a nice piece of real estate, and same with you. You found a nice little piece of real estate.
It's something you do, and just try to do it. Yeah.
Are we Austin Butler? No.
Easy.
But, we weren't dealt that hand.
Right.
We made good with the hand we had.
Yeah. It's hard, dude. It's hard after 5 years, after 10 years.
All right.
I know you're rapping me up.
Yeah.
Can you bring my